Ahoy there! Let's have a look at the Cold Steel XL Voyager knife. This knife is made by Cold Steel to achieve maximum shearing potential. That is what a knife like this exists for. Now, usually I do my win and fail review. I list all the wins and all the fails because we're looking at a pocket knife that you may buy blind. You might think, oh, that looks like a good knife. I'll buy it and see how it goes. This knife, you're going to know as soon as you see it in this exact photo or this exact still of it in my hand that you're going to like it or it's not for you at all and it's grotesque and oversized and silly. Me, myself, I think it's fun. I think it's fun and silly, but very, very enjoyable. Anyway, so a huge cutting blade like this is really made for slicing boots full of meat, slicing through rolled up wicker mats, slicing through large hanks of rope in slow motion, all that sort of business. That's what it's for. It's for sitting around with and saying, hey everyone, look at my giant knife. If you are one of these people who can carry one of these or you feel like carrying one in your area, and more power to you. But really, if you're in Australia and you're looking at this, you think either, oh, I'm going to just have that around my house, I'm going to maybe put it in my pack when I go hiking to protect myself against crocodiles or kangaroos or something. Either that or it's just going to be a fun knife. It really is. And I see no problem with that at all. So overall you've got a 5.5 inch blade and about a 7.5 inch handle, making for, it's a huge knife. That's exactly how big it is. It is huge. You can see you can choke back a couple of different positions on the handle. You can have it up close for your detail work. And then you can have it sort of swung back for your chopping cuts, your your rope cutting or your pig carcass cutting cuts. And both of them work just fine. So in terms of wins and fails, look, as I said, you're either going to like this knife or you're not, and you're going to look at that straight away, and that's going to be your opinion, one of those two things. What you do need to know is that in terms of good things, it's actually really well made. It's made of good materials. So the CTS BD1 steel is a fine steel. It's not a, don't confuse with the XHP. It's made by Carpenter, but it's not a powder steel. It's just an ingot steel. And it's, a bit better than AUSA. It's not as good as S30V. I'm somewhere in the middle of it. I haven't done the proper rope cutting test that I do in this channel with it just yet, but that'll be coming soon. It's a good enough steel. The handle material, it's good enough for a big knife like this. The handles are thick and robust, and they've got a pretty good checkered pattern on them to keep the grip going pretty well. It's got a triad lock, which is strong, which is probably, admittedly, I know I make fun of the triad lock every now and then, but it's probably the knife lock you want on a big knife like this. Because a few wrong moves and you could probably cut one of your fingers off. It is a bit of a little guillotine, especially down just in that last 40 degrees of knife closing movement. So really, overall, regardless of whether you like or dislike the look of this knife, it is well made out of good materials. It's pretty well priced. I paid 130 Australian dollars for it. I did that because of reasons. That is all I could really think of. I saw it there and I thought, yeah, let's give it a go. But I think there's a good enough price for the size and the weight and what you pay for. You're just getting a lot of knife for that money. So size, weight, quality, all good with me. Taste, completely up to you. And in terms of fails, apart from whether you think it's terrible just by looking at it, the only real fail I'd put it is the pocket clip. Just no good. Same rubbish cold steel pocket clips. It's too close to the handle, it's too rough with your pocket because it's got that sort of highly abrasive material underneath it. For some reason they're still not just doing the same pocket clip that you just take off in reverse. They're sending you the second one, which you always lose. All those sort of cold steel pocket clip problems are still present here. So that's the only real thing that you'd say, even if you really liked this giant knife, that you can still not like about it as well, the pocket clip. It's a bit garbage still. So that's it, that's the review. Like really, that's what you need to know, because you know already if you want this knife. So what we're going to fill the rest of our time with today is video of me cutting things with it. I'll probably put on some cool music in the background. Let's get going.